Nico.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another Nico's World video. It's your boy Nico's World, and welcome back again. Today, I'm going to talk about a little tier list and get into, you saw the title of the video. But before I do that, I want to show y'all something. Hold on, one second. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna edit this out. I'll be right back. The old girl got me. Pretty fire, right? Look at that. Look at this. You know what this is? Only real ones know what this is. I know y'all know what that is. What scene's that from? What movie is this? Y'all know what that's from. Y'all know what that's from. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the Spirited Away joint, that's one of my favorite movies. Fucking Spirited Away, Studio Ghibli, I'm all about that stuff. Samurai Champloo type anime stuff. Only real ones know. Comment if you know what that is. Well, I already just said it, but if you know what that is, dap me up.
I didn't realize you were chill like that. All right, you're good. That dude was so sick.
But yeah, in today's video, we're going to get into the player-based tier list. So basically, this is going to be my opinion on the player base of each specific character and who I think are actually strong players and who I think are not so great. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to overcomplicate it, not going to over-explain it. We're just going to get right into it. So starting off, we are looking at not that. We're looking at Leo. Leo, Leo, Leo players tend to be pretty strong, man. I will actually give it up to Leo players. Leo players tend to be pretty strong players. I hate this character with a fucking passion, but I will say that it is not a walk in the park to deal with these characters or these players. They tend to be pretty solid. I do think the character carries you just a little bit, but other than that, they are strong players. I hate this character, but they're strong. Moving on, we got Lee. Lee players are very strong players. Lee players, they were. I do think that they were kind of downplaying a character a little bit. Actually, I still think that they are low key to some degree, but all in all, when I fight Lee players, it's not a walk in the park. They actually are very strong players from what I've seen, from what I've gathered. They use his tools properly. They try to play fundamental Tekken. From what I've seen, down forward one poke into sidestep, maybe down forward one into low poke, things like that. They try to fish for counter hits. Um, yeah, so I would say that elite players tend to be pretty strong, from what I gather. So I'm gonna put him at strong players. Next, we got Dragonoff. Dragonoff players are very solid, actually. Very strong players. I on when I do come across a Dragonoff, they do tend to play more fundamental Tekken. Like, they do try to poke at you to death with his down two, his down four one. They delay the four. The four is a counter hit launcher. I don't know why that's a counter hit launcher. I don't think it should be, but they do tend to be a little bit on the stronger side. Uh, try to step. They do try to poke at you and everything. His grab game is strong. He's a solid character, man. He's strong. I don't he I for I remember I was fighting a Dragunov recently and I got hit with um he blocked the low that I was doing, and I know that for a fact it was minus 12 on block, but I ate a heat engager and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you telling me you have a 12 frame while standing heat engager that's a launcher in heat? Insane. That should not be a thing, but that's besides the point. That's just a crazy ass. I don't know why they gave him that. That needs to go. They need to nerf that. That's insane. But other than that, that's besides the point. That's not. We're talking about player bases. These players tend to be pretty strong. And then now we're moving on to Brian's. Brian players are they're either strong players or solid. I'm gonna put Brian's in strong players. I'm gonna put him in strong players. Brian players tend to be pretty strong, I think. He's big on counter hits. He's big on applying pressure, and I do think that Brian players do that pretty well on for the most part. Obviously, everybody's experience varies. Everybody will place these other characters in some other tier or whatever. Everybody thinks whoever is carried, but I do think Brian players for the most part tend to be pretty good. Most Brians that I've come across, even before Tekken 8, were always pretty decent. So I put Brian at strong players. I do think he needs nerfs though. Steves are solid. Steves are solid. Steves are solid players, I think. Steves, I don't know what it is about Steve players, but Steve players always tend to have really good defense. They always tend to have really good they tend to be like more defense oriented from what I gather. They do apply pressure, don't get me wrong. But from what I gather, from what I've seen from Steve players is that they have very good defense. They have above average defense than the average player base, I'd say for sure. So I would put Steve's at solid. The only reason I didn't put him at strong is because I do think that when Steves are applying pressure, I do think that they sometimes put themselves in harm's way unnecessarily, or also sometimes think that they don't adapt when they see that something isn't working. I think they lack adaptability a little bit. But other than that, I do think that they're good players. Moving on, we got Kazuya. Kazuya's are decent or strong or solid for me at least. Put it decent. I'm just gonna move this guy over here because I don't like that he's over here. Number one, I don't like that layout's not that important. Kazuya players tend to be pretty decent. Um, they the only thing about they kind of have a chip on their shoulder. They think that my character requires execution. Blah, blah, blah. They're very in love with themselves. Have a very they're very big on elitism when it comes to Tekken. I don't like that about Kazuya players because when I do fight them, I think they're only decent. I don't think they're nothing crazy. And they act like their character doesn't have bullshit. Like yes, your character has bullshit. Everyone does. Um, but that's besides the point. I think Kazuya players are decent players. I just think that they are self-absorbed very much, but they're quite the elitists when it comes to Tekken, but they are decent players. Um, uh, Devil Jins, I'm gonna put in solid. I think Devil Jins tend to be a little bit better than Kazuya players. I think Devil Jin players use his mix up very well. I think that his down back two is utilized really well with those players. I have seen them play some fundamentals, but there's when I see Devil Jins, they're either really good or really bad. Like there's no like in between. Like you either get the Devil Jins that will do like they'll do like I guess let me think. They'll do like electric pressure into 442 into delaying his back forward 2-1 strings and things like that. But then you'll get the back three Devil Jins that fly across the fucking screen and then kick you in the but they do it like almost every instance. So those there's a difference. There's definitely bad Devil Jin players, but the for the most part, from what I gather, is that I do see more solid Devil Jins for sure. Reynas are solid. Reynas are solid. I've already vocalized my opinion about this character. I don't think Reyna is that strong. I've already said that. I don't think she can do like a lot of people are complaining about her 442. I don't. I am not afraid of her 442. If I'm be completely honest, she doesn't really get that much off of her 442. All she gets is a heat engager, and she has to land the 442 in the first place, and that's the only real thing that she could check you with. If she tries to do the power crush, the first hit's minus 14, and the second hit is minus 16. which my main can launch both. So I really don't uh, think Reyna is that strong. I've already said this. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. You can disagree if you want. I really don't care. But other than that, I do think Reyna players are solid. I do think that Reyna's on average work with less than most of the cast, but Reyna players tend to be pretty good. Yeah, so I'm gonna put her at solid for sure. Claudio's I'm gonna put Claudio at I'll put Claudio at I'm gonna put Claudio at solid. I think Claudio players tend to be solid players. Um, but I think it's partly because he's pretty simple. He's pretty easy to use. He's pretty straightforward while running two into pressure. The mid option with wall running, I think is wall running 3 or 4. I don't know what the input is, but it's like -1 on block. It has a counter hit property. They like to step afterwards. Sidestep 4 is a decent low. Back one is a good mid homing move. Wall splats. So honestly, this character is very solid. This character is very good, but I think that the players tend to know how to use this character very well, so they tend to be solid players. That being said, I think the only reason he's a little bit high on the higher end in terms of player bases is because he's so simple. When your tools are that simple, it's pretty simple. So I'm gonna put him at solid. Shaheen's The two Shaheen players that exist tend to be pretty solid. I think that Shaheens are pretty good. I hate the guard break shit that he has. I don't even know why he's even in Tekken 8. To be honest, I think he's a waste of a slot. But again, just my opinion. But yeah, he's he's alright. The player bases tend to be pretty solid. They do play fundamental Tekken. I do see them stepping. I do see them trying to space you out. Get a play of your timing. Um, but I do think his fucking guard break is super cheap. I think that I don't know why they gave him a low heat smash, or did he always have a low heat smash? I don't remember. I don't pay no mind to this character. He doesn't exist to me. But for the most part, the player bases that I come across tend to be pretty good players. So I'm gonna put him as solid. Xiao Yu, oh, man, Xiao Yu's are kind of carried. I'm gonna be completely honest. But I'm gonna put her at decent. Um, I don't think when I say okay, so when I say carried, I don't think Xiaoyu is a character that you could just like pick up and play, right? I don't think she's a character that you could just be like, oh, I'm gonna pick up Xiaoyu and just be good with her. I don't think that's true. I do think that the character requires some level of definitely some practice, some time to get good with the character. But when I say carry, I think that the character carries you in the sense that mids simply do not exist to you. Highs and mids and even lows sometimes do not exist to you. So things that you should have gotten hit by does not hit you. So when I think of carry, that's kind of like the character's doing things for you is when I think of the word, carried. And this character definitely does that shit for you. There's so many mids that probably should have hit you that just went right over your fucking head, which is what I call bullshit. But other than that, I do think that Xiaoyu players are decent. I just think you're carried. But I think you're decent though. It's like a backhanded compliment. But you're good. They're good players. I just think they're carried. Um, Lilies. Lilies. Lilies are pretty good, man. Lilies are good. Lilies are good. I can re- I can res- I can respect Lily players to some degree. Lily players are the character's kind of centered around fundamentals in a way. Like um the bad lilies are gonna do Matterhorn in your face and expect not to get punished for some reason. The good lilies are gonna poke you to death and sidestep you to death. But that is kind of what the character is kind of catered around. That's kind of her game plan is fundamentals. It is poking. It is stepping you. And when I see Lily players, most of the time they do try to play like that. So I'm gonna put her at decent. I do think that Lily players are decent players for the most part. Moving on, we got Jack. I don't fight Jacks too fucking often. I barely see this fucking guy. Um, I do think I'm gonna put him at decent. I think Jacks are decent players, but I also think they thrive off of the fact that nobody knows this matchup, and you don't see this character too fucking often. So um, they're carried off of ignorance, I think. But from what I gather, from what I've seen, Jack players do tend to be a bitch to deal with. Um, and that's partly probably because it's due to my lack of knowledge with this character, but what I've seen from Jack players, they tend to be decent. Kuma is the same thing. The same thing what I just said about Jack. Nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. What I will say is that they these guys know how to use their character, but the thing is that they nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. No one. You could do something that's like minus 20 million on block and nobody would know. So yeah, these I'd say these two are carried off of ignorance, but what I will say is that they know how to use the character. They know how to play the game when it comes to the best tools with these guys. So I'd say they're decent, but um yeah, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Paul players are mm, Paul players are okay, to be honest. I think Paul players are okay. I don't think Paul players are that impressive. Reason being is because they like to do his like down forward two from a distance. Basically, they like to. I'm not really impressed by Paul players, to be honest. Paul players, they just like kind of spam down forward two from a distance, hoping that you're gonna run into it. I don't know why that's safe on block. It crushes highs as an added as an insult to injury. I don't know why you have a safe mid that high crushes and launches and is safe. That doesn't make any sense to me. He and also his panic tools are really good. But I'm just really not that impressed with Paul players. I don't think Paul is really doing it. Paul players tend to be doing anything crazy. I don't struggle with Paul players too much, to be honest. Um, and I don't see Pauls too often either, if I'm gonna be real. But I think Paul players are okay. Victor players are Victor players are okay. Victor players are okay. I think Victor players are kind of the same thing when it comes to like Devil Gym players, but I think on average, Devil Gym players are stronger than Victor players. But I think there's like either really good Victor players or really bad Victor players. There's like no in between. You're either really good with the character or you're not. Um, but I think on average, Victor players are just okay. Like I don't think they're doing anything crazy. I don't think they play super fundamentally sound. I don't think they're super skillful players, to be honest. I think they're just okay. Um, I think this character kind of carries a little bit too, as well, to be honest. Like his wall running move, I don't know why his wall running mid move is a counter hit launcher, and it's a plus on block move that puts you in the stance that gives you stance. I don't understand why that move does all that. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's dumb. I don't know why he has that. I would nerf that, but that's besides the point. Uh, Zafina players again are the same case when it comes to Jack and Kuma, in my opinion. Nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. Nobody knows this matchup. This character is so strong because it's people's ignorance of the character. Nobody knows what you're doing. Um, that being said, I think Zafina players are they're like okay or I'm gonna put her at okay. I think they're okay. You don't see Zafina players too often. I don't see them. I really don't see them too often. Um, Zafina players, they're just okay. I don't really trip about Zafina too much. I barely see her, but from what I gather from for the most part, when I do come across her, Uh, I don't struggle with her too much. Um, I have labbed her a little bit, but not enough to say I know the matchup comfortably. But I do know some things that's unsafe, that's launch punishable against her. Um, I do think some. I do. What I will say though is that I do think that some of her shit tracks way too much. Like her track, I think her tracking is kind of crazy on certain moves. But that's just my opinion. But again, I don't. My knowledge on this character is not very strong. But on average, I'd say that Ziphian players are just okay. And for Law, I am gonna put Law players at. I'm gonna put Law players are okay too. I don't think from them on average when I see a Law player, I don't really see them doing anything that spectacular or that really like impressive, to be honest. Um, I I think law players are kind of in the same boat with Devil Jin and Victor players that they're either really good or really bad. Like um uh law players, like what a bad law player will do is they'll spam down 2-3 as a panic move. And like they'll have setups to set that up to do it. That's and but the thing is that that's minus 15 on block. They'll do shit like that, or they'll do what is it? They'll do I just had it in my head. They'll do that the I think it says 3+4 is that double kick into the high kick that they do. A good law player would not just throw that out in the open because the if you even if you don't finish the string, you're still jab punishable. So, and if you try to finish the string, you still get juggled because you don't have enough time to do the high kick to for it to come out. It's not gonna beat your opponent's jab, so you're gonna get juggled. Bad law players do that. They just throw it out in neutral, acting like nothing bad will happen to them. So, again, law players they suffer from the fact of they're either really good or they're really bad. Um, Feng players, Feng is oh my gosh, man, Feng is so stupid in this game. I don't think Feng players are that great, bro. I'm gonna put him. Okay. Hmm. He's he's close to not great for me if I'm gonna be completely honest. But I think Fang players are just okay. But if I'm gonna be honest again, I think Fang players are pretty hard carried because Fang you have to be careful on how you pressure Fang, and Fang's pressure is very fucking strong. His heat is very good. He has great panic tools. He has tricky lows that he fucking his I think it's his back four is just a raw launcher that's safe for some reason. I don't know why that's safe. He has a 12 frame mid that's basically homing and has a high extension that puts him in the stance. I don't know why I think he needs nerfs, but when a character is so fucking strong, it's kind of hard to distinguish the difference between the character strength and the player's skill. It's kind of hard to be like, is this guy really good or is this character just really fucking strong? You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to tell with this piece of shit. But I'm just gonna put him at okay. I don't think Feng players are trash. I just think that they're just okay. But to each his own. Just my opinion. Um, Asazunas are just okay. I haven't gone against the crazy Asazena. Asazunas like to do a lot of the panic move bullshit when they like leave the screen and then kick you in the chest and shit like that. I've seen them do it after a heat engager. Incredibly scrubby to do that. Um, uh, but yeah, I don't think Asuzena players are doing anything crazy. I'm just gonna put them as okay. They don't really. When I see an Asuzena, I'm just like, all right, whatever. Um, Kings, Kings are carried, man. Kings are not great. Kings are carried. Oh, I'm sorry, King is carried. King has so much bullshit, and it's he needs nerfs. King is so dumb. King, I like when I fight kings. All kings do are grab, which makes sense because he's a grappler, or they power crush, or they try to get the jaguar sprint out and shit like that. I simply cannot be impressed with that because it requires a crazy amount of defense to deal with that. It's hard to apply pressure when his armor moves are so fucking good. I don't even know why you get a mix up off of your armor, that kick that he does that's a power crush. Why does he get a Jaguar sprint mix up off of that? I don't understand that. So I think King players are hard carried. I don't think, but as a whole though, I don't think the player base is that strong or that great. I don't think they're doing anything crazy spectacular. I don't really see them playing like crazy fundamentals or anything like that. I think they just throw a bunch of bullshit at you and it just works. But like that Oki set up at the wall, that shit is stupid. I don't know why he has that. That got to get looked at. But yeah, I don't think the player base is that great. I just think y'all have carried something fierce. I think this character does a lot for you. Um, Raven. I'll put Raven at okay. Raven players again. Ravens. I do see Raven frequently though. I see him fairly often, but I think that I think that Raven kind of is in the same bag as these guys. Nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows the matchup like that. Obviously, it's not the case for everyone. Obviously, some people do, but you know, from my personal experience, I just see them as okay. I'm not saying I haven't struggled against them, but I think that on average, the player base is just okay. I don't see them really doing anything super spectacular. I think they're all right. Ninas, Ninas are bad. Ninas are bad. Ninas are not good players. Ninas are not good players. Nina is when I think of Nina, right? I think Nina is as a character, Nina is one of the strongest characters in the game. Nina, in my opinion, is like top three. But when it comes to the player base, I think Nina players suck. I don't think Nina players are good. I think I think Nina players don't realize how strong their fucking character is. I looked at Nina to some degree and her frames and her pressure is nuts. I think that she has a great counter hit game. She has a grab game. She has great frames, decent lows. Um, she has mid high strings that jail for some reason. She has great heat engagers. She has an 11 frame heat engager that Nina players don't use. Like, imagine being minus 11 on block and you just eat a heat engager. Insane. That's insane to me. To be honest with you, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't think anybody should have a move that you can use as a punish that is like minus 12 and below. So like minus 12, minus 30, minus 11, tens. I don't think you should get a heat engager off of that, if I'm gonna be completely honest. The only time I think minus 10 is not even minus 10, like a 10 frame heat engager is okay, is with like uh like Laws and Lars. I think those them two. I mean, Laws is still not okay because for some reason he gets a fucking whole ass launch when he's in heat. I don't think that's okay. But I think having a 10 frame counter hit heat engager is fine. But I think Laws is still stupid. I don't think you should get a launcher off of that. I think that's dumb. But that's besides the point. Nina players are not good. And another reason is I think that the character's so catered towards offense and aggression that when Nina players get aggression on them, they try to mash their way out. That's why oftentimes I'll see Ninas with like 50, 40 defense or some shit like that. Nina players mash so fucking much. And um, on average, I don't struggle with them too much because they just press into my counter hits. So, or I know what they're trying to do when they eat like like a low or something like that. They try to power crush and shit like that. So um, yeah, I think that the character's strength is up here, but the player base's skill is down here. That's what I think. Um, Elisa, Elisa players are not good. Elisa players are not good. I think Elisa just has a what I like to call a bag of bullshit, and it just works. I on average though, I don't struggle with Elisa players too much. I don't think that Elisa players are that great. Um, I think Elisa does a lot for you. I think Elisa carries hard. And I think she needs nerfs. I think she's not talked about enough. I think she needs to get hit for sure. She's way too strong and she has too many tools at her disposal. That need to be looked at. I don't know why they gave her lows that put her into more mix-up pressure. I don't know why her fucking movement is the second to Lily's second best in the game. Elisa players are not great, and but I think again I think the character is up here, but the player base's skill is down here. I don't think Elisa players are that good. Lars, the Lars gang, the Lars players. Okay, so I'm part of this family, as you know. I'm a Lars main. But this breaks my heart. This breaks my heart, bro. This breaks my heart. But large players are not good.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Game over.
Large players are not good. So and again, this is me being honest. This is my opinion. But when I see large players and I come across them, and wherever I come across them at, I'm just not that impressed. I think that, and partly the reason I say this is because, well, as a person who has coached other large players and who's given them tips and tricks and things like that, and the large community has helped me back and give me like, oh, other tricks and tips and things like that. um I when I come across them, a lot of the times what I see them doing is they put themselves in harm's way for no reason. They do things that are just super unsafe. They don't. I feel like the problem with large players, and I was actually thinking about making a video about this. I think the biggest problem that large players face is they don't think about the consequences of something when they do something. If I do this orbital and this man does a tiny sidestep, I'm going to die. If I do up forward three and that is blocked, I'm going to die. They don't consider the ramifications of what they try to do when they try to do it. And I think they kill themselves and put themselves in danger needlessly. There's ways to get pressure without trying to fish for big, huge launchers. You need to consider the downside of doing certain things. Try to be more safe. They put themselves in harm's way so much, and I don't understand why. And they also put Faith in one of his worst moves. I don't know why, which is his orbital. I see Lars trying to orbital every 2 seconds. I don't know why. That's one of his worst moves. But yeah, Lars players, I love y'all. This is a little bit of tough love. I'm part of this family, so I'm right there with y'all, right? But we need to do better. We need to do better, in my opinion. We're not that great. We need to do better. Horings are bad. Whoring players are not good. Uh, and the reason why I say this is because whoring players. So I play the character. Whoring I consider my third main right now, and one thing I noticed is that when I actually understood the character and I understood the stances and how everything works in conjunction with one another, his whole movement, his whole game plan, his pressure, everything. How when I understood that, I remember I fought like five Horangs back to back in quick match, and I just demolished them. And the reason why I demolished them is because what I saw is that they knew how to give pressure, but when they had the pressure on them, they didn't know what the fuck to do, even with their own character. So whoring players to me, when they fight their own character, it's like a king player that can't break grabs. Your whole shtick is grabbing people, but you can't break grabs. Your whole shtick is pressure, but you can't take pressure. So Hwoarang players, from what I saw, they don't even know how to deal with their own character. They don't even know their own matchup, which is insane to me. So I'm gonna put Hwoarang players as not great. I don't think they're that crazy. I don't think they're doing anything fancy or whatever. Um, I just haven't seen it. And on average, I do fairly well against Hwoarang players. I don't really struggle with them that too much. Um, moving on to Jins. Jin players suck. Jin players suck, man. Jin players are bad. Jin players. So, I've talked to this about my friends too, with my friends too. Jin players in Tekken 7 were some of the strongest players in the game. Tekken 7 Jin players were solid. They were always like 9 times out of 10. Excuse me, 9 times out of 10, Jin players were always really good players. They didn't let me get anything in Tekken 7 for free. And I actually really enjoyed fighting Jin players in Tekken 7, man. I saw the skill, I saw the dedication to the character, I saw the fundamentals, I saw the thinking in Tekken 7 Jin players. Tekken 8 Jin players, I think it's maybe just the Tekken 8 poison that they got or something, but Tekken 8 Jin players, they fell off. A Tekken 7 Jin player would beat a Tekken 8 Jin player's ass any day of the week. Tekken 8 Jin players are not good. They do things that make no sense. They go into stance into up one. They try to up one out of everything, even though that shit is -16 on block. They try to do 4-4 into stance, scrubby as hell. They try to do fucking I've seen gym players that don't even electric. They go into stance to do the free electric. Yeah, man. Tekken 7 gym players and Tekken 8 gym players, there is a big difference. There is a big difference. The ones Tekken 7 gym players skill level is up here. Tekken 8 gym players, they all the way down here. They not good. I'm not saying that all gym players in Tekken 8 are bad, but what I'm saying on average, from what I've gathered and what I've come across, I don't struggle with gym players. I actually fought a. I remember I fought a God level 1 gym player and he sucked. He wasn't good. I was like, it's like how the fuck did you get to God level 1? He wasn't even good. But yeah, gym players are nah, they're not that good, and the character is strong, but the player base is not that great. Oscars are Oscars are not great. I'm not really Oscar players are not that good. I don't think Oscar players are that good. I think this character is pretty brain dead, to be honest. Uh, Oscar, all Oscar players do is just parry. They get hit, they parry. They get hit, they try to do some evasive bullshit. They have setups into the evasive bullshit. Um, I don't really see Oscar players doing anything super crazy, super intelligent plays. I don't think Oscar players are that great. I'm not even gonna speak on her too much because I don't think they're good. I just think the character is just I think the character carries. I think she carries. Uh, let's see. June players are bad. Automatically, June players are bad. June players are not good. June players are not that strong in my opinion. I have fought honestly, I think, and I could say this with confidence, when I'm in ranked for the most let me put it this way, the most highest rank players that I've seen that probably don't deserve to be in those high ranks are June players. I fought TGS June players, I fought God June players, and they are not good. They are purple rank level at best. They just can every 5 seconds. They try to do up forward one to try to be sneaky with it. Like they try to do it after they eat a heat burst, which is insane because that shit is launch punishable on block. Very launch punishable. They're not great. I don't see them doing anything crazy. Leroy's are not great. Leroy's it's hard to it's like again it's hard to distinguish a skillful player versus an actual good player because I don't see Leroy players playing like fundamental Tekken. All I see Leroy players doing is this. Oh, I got hit. Oh, you kicked me in my stomach. Oh, I got hit by a heat engager. Every single time. Every single time. Every time they get hit. Huh, huh, every single time. It's trash. Trash. And the thing is, how you can counter it, you know what I'm saying, is grabs, shit like that. Just doing a low or something like that. When I show them I'm countering it, they still go, huh. Nah, not impressive. They should nerf that parry so we could actually see good Leroy's, not even good Leroy's, but we could actually see like skillful play with that character. But that parry is so beyond brain dead. I can't even. I can't. Um, Yoshi's, Yoshi players. Yoshi's, man. Yoshi's are just. Yoshi's. I'm just gonna put Yoshi in not great. I Yoshi is like I said before. I think Yoshi is just a bag of bullshit, and it just works. I think this character just does what he wants, and it just works. I just I don't think Yoshi players are phenomenal players. I think on average they're not that great. I just think that this character just does so much for you for little to no effort. I don't see Yoshi players trying to play fundamentals. I don't see Yoshi players trying to play. Um, I don't see Yoshi players doing anything eh, super impressive. I just think that they just have bullshit and it just works. Just do whatever the fuck you want. It just works. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put Yoshi players in not great. Yeah, not super spectacular players. And then Panda. Yeah, that's gonna do it for today's tier list on who I think is the strongest player bases to the weakest or weaker player base. Again, this is just my opinion. You can think whatever you want. Everybody would probably put fucking Elisa at strong player, Lee at bottom, fucking Horang and decent, Steven. Okay, it's an opinion. It's just what I think. But just a little fun little thing that I thought of. Of course, inclined to disagree. But that is going to do it, like I said. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. And I'll see you in the next Nico's World video. Take care, guys. Be safe out there.